G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tuckerwell, Mars Point, with a sunny blue sky Friday fishing report. Been a bit cool this week, guys, but it's what you would expect. It is winter, and of course tomorrow being the 1st of July, these west nor'westers will hang around certainly the rest of the day, but into tomorrow, and of course on Sunday we'll have a bit of a sou'west. Now the forecast in the next week, guys, just for obviously the first week of the school holidays, showery but very light winds out of the nor'west, so I still think we'll be able to salvage something out of it. Out wide, of course, we'll start out there. Probably not a lot of guys going to get out there, but the encouraging reports coming through, we had reports of bluefin tuna, southern bluefin tuna, coming up the coast off Sydney. And I've had a bit of a tip that out wide with the long line, it's just the same deal out off our part of the coastline. Looking at the sea surface chart at the moment, that zero line we talk about, in 150 fathoms, and there's not a lot of current out the front. That same patch of water that had those bluefin tuna in it off Sydney last weekend is in fact off our part of the coastline. So hopefully over the next few weeks this wind starts to back off, and as I say, middle of next week it does back away. That good opportunity to get out there and chase some of these big tuna. Kingies certainly down on the Texas, but again, these westerly winds really do play havoc in those deeper water spots. Definitely getting some longpin perch and of course quite a few reds. But the barracuda have been a little bit troublesome, and not only have the barracuda been a problem out wide, there's certainly a problem on some of these inshore reefs, particularly Caves, Catho, down towards Waibung. A lot of barracuda down there at the moment. Surprisingly enough, and I keep on saying this, there are still quite a few very big bonito along our part of the coastline, which is very surprising. Water temperature on the beach down as low as around about 17 degrees, so it is quite cool, and no doubt that is why there's been so many of these barracuda, a real troublesome species, that's for sure. But plenty of tail are still on the inshore reefs, and some really nice reds getting in close, and my tip is inside that 20 metre mark, and with these westerly winds, that's exactly where you'll need to be on those inshore reefs. If you're going to go down onto the rocks, guys, hearing some reports from quite nice calamari squid getting caught off our rock platform. So when this swell backs away, and we've got a little bit of a 1.8 to 2 metre swell over the weekend, but when we get these really flat conditions, there's an opportunity to actually get down and fish for these calamari squid off the rocks. But there's certainly been quite a few about. A lot of tail around very early in the piece, and of course we're seeing those drummer, brim, and of course big schools of luderick. But again, please play it safe when you are rock fishing if there is a little bit of swell around. The beaches, nothing's really changing, guys. The tailor have been a little bit hit and miss though, and there's still those very small salmon along our part of the coastline. No salmon yet coming into the channel, and I know with school holidays, this time last year, on the second week of the school holidays, we've seen just an absolute influx of salmon in through Swansea Channel, but it just hasn't happened yet. There's still a few salmon in the lake, of course, and there is just so much bait around at the present moment. So the northern end, there was a lot of birds working up the northern end in Warners Bay through the middle of the week there. I was up that way having a bit of a look, but a lot of bait down towards Pulborough Island, shingle splitters, and over towards Myuna Bay. You're gonna just need to move around. Yes, there's still a few flatted around, but you've got to start to work just a little bit harder, guys. And I still think that trolling some of these bays, no doubt with the tail dancers, getting down, being able to locate some of these bait schools, and then working your way around and looking for the bait school that looks the worst that you've ever found. It is the one that's getting worked over by the tailor, and that is going to be the key, because with this little bit of a westerly wind, I think you're going to have to stay on the western side of the lake. Belmont Bay on the edge here, not too bad, but definitely Killaman Bay, Rathmines, where you're getting some protection into Wangi, and of course Myuna south or up in Toronto up there. These western sides will offer very, very good protection. There's still quite a few mulloway getting caught for the anglers that are fishing at night, and of course some very, very good brim are really getting caught in very, very tight. And the oily based baits, as this water temperature comes away now, is proving to be the mullet strips and pilchards in particular working very, very well. We've got some really big tides happening over the next few days, guys. Obviously that low tide tomorrow morning in and around about, say, actually it's a high tide, should I say, in around about 6 o'clock, but 6:30 tomorrow night for a high tide, about 1.9. a low tide just after midday. However, that full moon on Tuesday night, we're going to see a 2.12 metre high tide. A huge tide, so there's going to be a lot of water moving through. Let's hope that some of these tailor are out off our coastal beaches and inshore reefs actually start to move in, because they have dropped away just a little bit, and the size of the tailor offshore and on the beaches has been quite good. So let's hope over the next week we start to see this improvement in our estuary. But all in all, guys, it is the school holidays, and as we've felt, it is definitely winter, but the blue sky abounds us, so we can still salvage something out of this weekend. Now, of course, this weekend's special, and certainly for the school holidays, guys, I've got a couple of Pen Fierce combos here. Now, we've got a good little estuary-based combo here, for basically suitable for everybody, and we've even got a boat rod combo, even something that you could use for offshore. Normally $159.99, half price, down to $80 for our viewers. Guys, just got to get out there, rug up, because it is cold. See you next Friday.